Fluent note reading is a process that can take a little time to master, but the information in this video will speed that process up and keep you from getting stuck or frustrated. It is very important that you do not try to stop and think about what every note is as you are playing. Nobody plays this way because it's too tedious and painful. If this is the case, how then should you go about note reading? Notes on the staff are actually a very accurate representation of what we call up and down in music. In other words, every instrument has a lowest and highest note, and the series of notes on the instrument progress in a stepwise fashion, also known as a scale. In fact, the word scale comes from a Latin word meaning steps. So while you may need to use the note reading information in the previous video to find the note that starts a particular line or phrase, you will very often be able to proceed from there just by observing the relative high and low placement of the notes on the staff. Let's look at some examples. In this first example, if you look at the head or circular part of the notes, you will see that by reading from left to right, each note has moved higher up to the next respective line or space. These notes are said to be going up. Since each note is moving from consecutive lines and spaces, they are going up one note at a time. By knowing the up and down of your instrument, you would easily be able to play this line of notes just by following it visually. In this example, as you read from left to right, each note is getting lower on the page, so these notes are said to be going down. Notes that go up but skip a note are shown by being both on lines. In this example, these notes are going up but skipping every other note. This can also be shown by both notes being on spaces. Here they are, skipping down. The distance between any two notes is called the interval, and it is measured by simply counting the note you go from, then all the lines and spaces in between, and finally the note you are going to. A second is also called a step, since it involves the very next note up or down. With a little practice, you can gauge the size of the interval without counting. Even numbers, 2, 4, 6, and 8, will show both notes with one being on a line and the other in a space. Odd numbers, 3, 5, and 7, will show up as both notes being on lines or both notes being in spaces. Learn to use the up and down visual aspect of notes on the staff, recognize the intervals, and only use the note reading information to get started or if you get stuck. Avoid overthinking it and getting hung up on identifying every note as you go. Soon your note reading will be easy and fluent, and note recognition will come automatically.